Our topic today is about water. Chinese nationalistic little pinks are so bored and restless from not getting mad at something, but they've found their next target, a witch hunt against a popular water and beverage brand because some of the logo and designs are Japanese. Yes, a water brand is next on the chopping block. Let's talk about it. Welcome to China Insider, I'm David Zhang. While the free world researches the likes of Sora AI, a Japanese name for the sky, which means the limitless potential of creation using this text-to-video model, China is also letting their imagination run wild using something Japanese as well. But for the entirely wrong reason. This popular water and beverage brand called Nongfu Spring in China is under fire from nationalistic crazies called Little Pinks. Why, you ask? Because the designs and logos apparently took from Japanese culture. It's a mini cultural revolution against Nongfu Spring within the censorship wall. Patriotic netizens questioned that many of Nongfu Spring's products allegedly contain Japanese elements and elements that insult China. Now, some of the stores has already taken their bottled water off the shelf. Other stores are boycotting their products entirely. And of course, sales have declined dramatically. And now, Nongfu can be considered technically blacklisted in China over basically nothing. Let me explain. For example here, this picture shows a drink on the left, which is from Nongfu's competitor. Now, it has an ancient house design with a horse in front, and that's Chinese architecture. But according to Little Pinks, the Nongfu design on the right is a Japanese architecture called pagoda. And it just turns out in China, well, there is a similar temple with very identical structures as the one on the bottle, and it leaves you wondering, is it really true that they took from Japan? What a ridiculous reason for the witch hunt, right? Do they not know that actually Japanese architecture originated from China's Tang Dynasty? Do they also not know that the fact, well, shaming their own culture in the process is actually anti-nationalistic? Well, I guess not, since the CCP never teaches rationality, reasoning, and of course, the real history to these brainwashed individuals. Now there's more. This bottle here has a logo of a mountain, and that is immediately accused of referencing Mount Fuji in Japan. Are they brain dead? Are there no other mountains in the world with snow on top? And of course, there's Dancing Person logo here, and that's immediately accused of being the Awa Dance Festival in Japan. So China is basically picking bones inside an egg. And that's a Chinese saying of finding everything from a nothing burger. Well, we're not done yet. Here's more. This bottle has a pink flower that somehow was found to be the same circle as on the banner in front of the Yasukuni Shrine, which of course is a shrine that is very sensitive to China over Japan's invasion. And the flower circle along with the Torii Gate is allegedly the design of the Chinese tea drink bottle. And if you actually look at the design on the bottle, it has nothing to do with Japan at all. It's a farmer singing. And they're also adding the extra imagination just for the sake of feeding their nationalistic feelings. How about fish on a bottle? They're also apparently Japanese because during the Japanese Dragon Boat Festival, these fishes are flown. So is it only Japan that can have fish kites? Can China not? Well, what about the ships? Well, apparently it's the colonizers who have ships that were used during the Opium War in China. Well, I guess China really just should ban all ships, including those aircraft carriers they have, like the Liaoning and the Shandong, which actually ripped designs off of the Soviet and American ships. So I guess they're all colonizer stuffs, and China should just not allow any of that to happen. Now, this latest witch hunt has already caused Nongfu's stocks to go down, and Nongfu Spring, which is listed on the Hong Kong stock market, saw its market value plummet by 22.5 billion yuan in just 2 days. Frankly, as we speak, Nongfu might as well just declare itself a Japanese company, because clearly public opinion thinks they are. So how exactly did this all start in the beginning? Well, some attribute it to the death of Nongfu's competitor, Hangzhou Wahaha Group's founder. After the death of Mr. Zhong Qingho, the pioneer of China's private enterprises and the founder of Wahaha, people in China tried to commemorate and mourn in different ways. Some took it quite extreme. People basically found unique ways to commemorate the death of this guy, which is to take aim at Nongfu Spring instead, who is, of course, Wahaha's longtime competitor. So some guy dies, Little Pinks took the chance to make this about nationalism, started to call themselves Zhang fans or Zhang lovers, and focus on supporting Mr. Zhang, the dead guy, kneeling down to Mr. Zhang, basically bootlicking Mr. Zhang and loving the Zhang. And suddenly, Nongfu Spring was besieged by online public opinion comments. And these were all news about Nongfu founder's son being an American citizen, how he basically abused his competitors. He took money from the competitors, etc. So on March 3rd, Nongfu founder and China's richest man, Joan Su, now Joan and Zhang, they're actually two different last names, he responded to the large number of recent rumors about himself and the company on the internet. And he wrote a 1,000-word essay called My Story with Mr. Zhang, who is the founder of his competitor. And in this article, he basically says that he respects Zhang as a businessman, competitor, as well as an elder person. And he also wishes that the internet witch hunt would stop, among other pleas. He also tried to clarify some of the rumors regarding his business venture. And before we continue today's video, here's a sponsor segment from Puriton. If there is one supplement you want to get incorporated into your diet, it's a good omega-3 supplement. It's the best all-around defender for your health. It reduces inflammation, cholesterol, improves eyesight, and reduces risk for heart problems, as well as helps with joint pain, among other benefits. Today, I want to introduce you to Puriton's green vegetables. Puriton gets their ingredients straight from the high mountains of South Korea, and the omega oils are extracted from purslane and perilla seeds. It's 100% vegan. Now, personally, I've been using Omega for about 9 years, close to 10 years now. I've recently switched to Puriton for about a few weeks now. Here's why. We mostly get our Omegas from fish, right? But that's not the best case for everyone, especially there's the aftertaste. It might not be suitable for vegetarians or vegan. So the most important part, right, we often forget is the actual concentration for Omegas. Puriton soft gels have a much higher content for Omega-3, 6, 7, and 9 than many of the brands out there. And some say that they notice there's less hair loss, more energy, lower cholesterol levels, and overall improved health. I think the best part for me is the lack of inflammation or the reduction of inflammation. Other brands also they use this high heat method to extract the oil, which in turn creates a lot of harmful byproducts. Puriton's green vegetable is done using a patented method of supercritical carbon dioxide low temperature extraction, so it preserves the natural properties and maintains high purities. First of its kind. So get it for yourself or as a gift to your loved ones ahead of the holiday season. Use my code DZ2023 and you can receive free shipping globally. Check out my link in the description and comment today. Of course, this didn't do much to change things around. Looking around, public opinion is changing rapidly about the identity of these two companies. Nongfu Spring and founder Joan Su have essentially become the representation of an evil capitalist, whereas Wahaha has become the symbol of a decent-hearted private enterprise, basically oppressed by Nongfu's shady capitalist business model. And so these personas were created out of pure imagination and nothing burger. Now, I'm not defending anybody here since, if you want to make it big in China, you need to work with corrupt politicians and CCP members, so nobody is clean. But still, this latest witch hunt is actually the perfect demonstration of the increasingly radical society status in China. It doesn't really matter how Nongfu tries to explain it. Just as in the Cultural Revolution of the 1960s, once you're branded as a traitor or anti-revolutionary, you simply cannot clear your name no matter what you do. So the real goal is to draw fire to the nationalistic sentiments and issues that they're familiar with. I'm talking about the commenters and internet users. That's the real main course here, right, of the event. It's not about the rumors and not really about the sales or anything like that. It's about making Nongfu's image so tarnished with the idea that they're anti-China, aka anti the people of China and anti the government. So Nongfu's market value will go down continuously just because it's almost like an intentional shorting of their stock because of some made-up nationalistic rumors, right? Some people online are already calling this the short selling with Chinese characteristics. Public opinion from the rumors turns into boycotts, turns into destroying the reputation of the company, its profitability, rinse and repeat. Now, there aren't the only ones either. Chinese companies have all faced this type of cultural revolution-esque public struggle session from the masses before. Now, even if you're the most nationalistic, most patriotic company, you will still not be avoiding this type of witch hunt. The last company that suffered from so-called short selling with Chinese characteristics was Li Ning, a famous Chinese sportswear brand. In October of 2022, a hat design of Li Ning's new winter clothing line was pointed out by netizens to be similar to which was the military caps worn by the Japanese invaders. And this triggered what's something called the Colonel Hat incident in China. And it apparently shocked the entire Chinese interweb. So think of a moment, right? Li Ning Sportswear is like the most well-known domestic brand. and it's a representation of the CCP nationalism symbol, and Li Ning, the athlete himself, as a national level sports star in China. There's no reason for Li Ning as a company, himself as a person, to try to deliberately imitate the clothing of the Japanese Imperial Army, right? There's just no reason to do so. But the Colonel Hat incident was still, it just happened. It's absurd and nonsensical, both emotionally, rationally, but also it just became a torrent of negative public opinion about a company that has created its image around, much like Huawei and other companies, around this pro-China stance, this pro-China image. Yet there was a large-scale negative hype about it, and it severely damaged the reputation of the brand. So in the past 6 months or so, sales have basically dropped to a very low number. A lot of the stores for Li Ning have closed, and market value for Li Ning also shrunk by about 150 billion yuan. And the company's vitality was destroyed. And of course, this also happens to foreign companies too. It's very typical for the CCP lovers to boycott foreign companies when they do something or say something that was deemed offensive. And so this actually makes the entire story we're talking about today even more hilarious and also sad. To survive in China, well, if you're trying to be a company, you become a CCP follower. Your company has to have a CCP office cell. And then even that is not enough. You could just do nothing and still end up on the wrong side of the barrel. A gun which is pointed at anybody at any given time, to those who aren't, radical enough to side with the right side of history, which is, during the time of Cultural Revolution. That's just, the more radical you are, the more fashionable you are in the political storm. And that's the reality of China today. All right, that's it today for the episode on how China's top water beverage brand called Nongfu is now under fire in a witch hunt over a big old nothing burger. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like, comment below your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time, bye-bye.